A Villain in Venice, Jane of the Air, Book 1. A steampunk detective and aviatrix and part-time spy. Available now. All profits to the NHS.
Scanning for audio.
Welcome to a Tin Dog podcast, this time talking about main range release, monthly range, whatever you want to call it, number 269, Doctor Who, Shadow of the Daleks, Volume 1. As the monthly range comes to an end, I do suspect there's a lot of stories that didn't quite fit anywhere else, or ideas that people had had over the years that kept being pitched, being used. Some of them for the better, and some of them, well, we'll get back to you. But so far in this box set, storming. But there's something in the world that makes every single writer in the world who's seen it want to write Sapphire and Steel. They want to write that spooky, not quite sure what's going on. There'll be some exposition, but it'll be a bit woolly, and it's all a bit mysterious and atmospheric, and often more style than substance. Yeah, you can see where I'm going. We all want to have written Sapphire and Steel. Sapphire and Steel already exists. So a lot of people take the stories that they're working on and make them spooky, atmospheric, and dark, and a bit weird. Here, we've got 4 stories, and they all are affected by, part of, something that's happened with the Daleks. Yes, the same actors have appeared in all of the stories, almost portmanteau movie-like, which again works. We're presented with 4 stories. The Daleks are always present. Hell, they're on the front cover, and they are the brass Daleks of the Time War. But this is a very, very different thing from usual. And I'm not saying that in a bad way at all. Here's the synopsis for story number 1. Actually, overall. Something is very wrong. The 5th Doctor is lost in the Time War, heading for encounters with his oldest and deadliest enemies, the Daleks. So story number 1 of this box set, which is just the monthly release, but it would be the equivalent of, say, Black Orchid length. Aimed at the Body by James Kettle. An encounter with a notorious cricketing legend should be right up the Doctor's street. But the unexpected appearance of an old enemy is about to send the Doctor on a quest. This story takes place in the Australian outback. Oh, does it? And it has the person in charge of the Bodyline series, who was a fast bowler who decided to play the game in a slightly more dangerous way, which upset a lot of people. And it kind of kept upsetting people for about 100 years. Seriously, it was that upsetting. And also it doesn't. It's one of those stories where that's enough of a description as a pitch to work it out. Now, yes, I've discussed at great length before the whole thing about episode 1 being not the easiest to write, but it is the hardest to mess up, because what you're doing is you're laying mystery upon mystery upon mystery, and you're telling the audience you'll get round eventually to sorting it out. But because each of these stories is a one-act story in itself, then you're going, right, here's the story, you've got a bit of clarity, moving on to the next one, but not enough clarity to sort out the plot for the lot, and of course it's over 2 box sets, so you haven't got enough clarity at all to sort out the whole thing. So you're still going to have a lot of mystery at the end of the story. You're not exactly left hanging, you're not exactly left going, but it is more one of those slightly disappointing Twilight Zones where you go, oh yeah, got it. And maybe that's what this has got more in common with than Sapphire and Steel now that I come to think about it. Especially the story in the Bookshop, but more about that in a minute. Lightspeed by Jonathan Morris. The trail has led the Doctor to a spaceship in the far future, where he finds himself trapped in the middle of a terrifying revenge plot. Yes, I will say that this story does bear a lot of resemblance to Speed and Snakes on a Plane and a few other things. However, just because you've used those as the jumping off point doesn't make them bad stories, does not make this a copy or something less than itself, because after all, deep down, it's a Doctor Who story. That's what it always is going to be. Again, it suffers from the whole same thing that the other stories have gone through, where you're thinking, oh, well, does this pay off enough? But this is a lot more self-contained and has a better narrative. The third story, The Bookshop at the End of the World by Simon Guerrier, it's very easy to forget and sometimes get lost in a bookshop, but some bookshops more than most. This one reminds me most of that Twilight Zone with all of the dolls in a box, where people are but aren't quite their characters. Yes, there is actual reasoning behind the whole thing, which pays off better than the Twilight Zone in my view. And it is lovely to be back in a bookshop, even if it is just a virtual one. Finally, Interlude by Dan Starkey. The play's the thing, or is it? The Doctor is roped into a theatrical spectacular, but who is he really performing to? This is one of the oddest of stories, but still very good. It feels almost like it takes place in the 11th-day Empire, and that's a blast from the past for everyone involved. I really must get around to reading those books. So, a decent box set, yes. There is enough mystery left over for it to, well, take place over the next monthly box set. For that, I'm very grateful for and deeply looking forward to, too. Is it good? Yes. Is it great? Well, I'd have to hear the rest, because I'm pretty sure you have to hear it all. But it has brilliant moments, but I'm just waiting for the whole story to unfold. It's lovely that the Daleks are on the front, and yes, they are ever present, but this is not a Dalek box set. This is a character study, and it's a character study of the Doctor. It's glorious to listen to. But don't take my word for it. Listen to the trailer and decide for yourself. So until next time, be seeing you.
From Big Finish Productions, Doctor Who, Shadow of the Daleks, Volume 1.
Hello! Is there anyone out there? I can hear you. Why can't I see you when I can hear you?
Mummy, look! Oh, that wasn't there a moment ago. You can see it. It's not just me. I've never seen anything like it.
Sorry to disturb you. Can I ask for directions?
Where on earth did you come from?
I was looking for the Adelaide Oval.
Are you mocking me, sir?
No need for the sir. I'm the Doctor.
The last time we toured Australia, the crowds were vile. I vowed then to bring those animals to heel, to overpower their weakness with my strength, until the universe kneels before the might of the Dalek Empire.
This is your captain speaking. Welcome to Interstellar Flight B619. We will be cruising at 6 at the speed of light.
Well, this all looks perfectly civilized. Not exactly what I'd expect from the Daleks. So, where are they?
This is a passenger announcement. If there are any medical professionals on board, could they please come to the bridge immediately?
These men were electrocuted.
They're dead?
Exterminated.
So it's happening here too.
There's nothing you can do, Doctor. You can't escape the inevitable.
Yes, thank you for that.
I knew there was something wrong about him the moment he stumbled in. I mean, he seemed confused and helpless.
Hello, I'm... Oh dear.
But I knew he threatened us all.
You're scared because you're getting closer to the window.
Why? What's out there?
The storm.
Yes. A storm raging through all of time. A storm or a shockwave.
Let him give me a hand with the props, Virgilio. You can concentrate on the words and he can do the acting.
Do I have any say in the matter?
Very well, Doctor, you're on.
Yeah, not bad going, Doctor. Scene shifter to lead in 2 minutes.
As if I didn't have enough on my mind. Is it just me, or has the stage shrunk? Not to mention the room.
Doctor!
So much for Doctor Theatre.
Big Finish. We love stories.
Not again. Can't breathe.
Oh, he's off again.
That was the Tin Dog Podcast. Available on Spotify, iTunes, Acast, Stitcher, and wherever good podcasts are found. Get early access to content by subscribing to the Tin Dog Podcast YouTube channel. You can support the show at patreon.com/tindog. Contact the show on Twitter at tindogpodcast or email tin-dog@hotmail.co.uk. All of the things discussed are the intellectual property of others. No infringement is intended. The Tin Dog Podcast is a founder member of the Doctor Who Podcast Alliance.